Welcome to Afford, west of Aberdeen, 2,600 population, 150 metres above sea level, and I'm about to show you around Afford Heritage Museum. Let's go and have a look. Well, there's actually a water wheel here I can see already. And where there's a water wheel, I'm interested. Check this out. This is cool. Right, let's go and see if we can have a look inside and whether we can film. Adult £7.50. Hello, can I look around your lovely museum? Can I film in here? Okay. Oh yes.
How's that for weight?
Amazing, isn't it? Great, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. When I started, I used to be a butcher.
Did you?
I'm going back 35 years now. We still had, not quite like that, but still had old manual scales in those days.
Wrap everything up in greaseproof paper.
Yeah.
So there was nothing wasted.
No.
Any tins were reused.
Yeah.
Or used for something else. So
the original recycling.
I say to people, people recycle now.
Yeah. We've always been doing it.
But you have been doing it, but you didn't create the stuff to recycle.
No,
in
you
the first
didn't.
place.
No. These sweet jars. So I've got a little eBay business as well where I buy things at car boot sales and stuff like that. And I mean, these would be worth more, but even your plain ones from sort of the 70s and 80s, 25, 30 quid each now. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Some of these decorative tins as well.
Yeah.
Gives you an idea how much stuff costs there as well.
Oh, don't. No. Money's worth nothing anymore, is it? Crikey.
Well, we used to use cigarette machines, you see.
Yes.
That was currency in the
in
the wars, particularly,
Amazing. Embassy Filter, Virginia.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
brilliant.
I'll let you get on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, chaps. Appreciate it. So this is all about the Doric language, which is quite interesting. It took me a long while when I came up here to understand what people were saying to me. There is a guy on TikTok. I'm not sure that he does. I don't think he does YouTube. Doric Dad, his name is, and I do keep thinking that I might give him a shout and see if he wants to do a collaboration about the Doric language, because he's really good. Suiter's workshop. Shoemaker, one of the specialist tradesmen. This is the pre-runner to what you see in Timpson's now. But look, it's driven by these old belts. Imagine that clanking away all day. 1943. Absolutely incredible. These hobnail boots, they are, look. Hobnail boots. Don't know whether you know about those, but look at that. That's the hobnails in them. How cool. Thomas Reary, tailors and outfitters. There's wood burning stove going down here, look in the corner. Keep his tailor's shop warm. And there probably is the man himself. You wouldn't have thrown, it would have been none of this, Primark and Sheen. You wouldn't have thrown stuff away in these days. You'd have bought it back to the tailors to have the elbows patched. Here we are. Newmacker Somme veteran Tom Reary. dies at 93. So not only was this man a tailor, he was at the Somme, the Battle of the Somme. Incredible. And working models. Look at the old threshing machine. Rural life. All old trophies. The Afford Valley Railway opened March the 21st, 1859. 31st of December 1949, the last passenger train departed from Afford. The goods service continued until the end of 1965 before it too ceased and the line closed completely. Now, this is super cool. ROC underground monitoring posts. Now, I found one of these up in Sutherland, Caithness, almost in its original condition. It didn't have all of the kit that you see here in it, but it had a lot of the original stuff and it hadn't been vandalised. If you don't know much about these ROC monitoring posts, there were hundreds built across the country, and they were to monitor the fallout and blast size of a nuclear bomb if we were ever attacked in the Cold War. There's a IKS Exploration. Go and check their channel out because they actually explore all these. They make it their job and they'll educate you on them, but they're absolutely fascinating. The interesting thing is that if you ended up, I think there were 3 people in them, and if there was a nuclear war, you would have all been down in the bunker and you would have had to leave your family and go down into the ROC post. Imagine just saying to your family, I'm off to the ROC post and you're all going to be toast. I wonder if the chips were down today, whether anybody would do that. Amazing. So we've got an old schoolroom. Look at this. The original desks, original slates on them for what the children would have written on. The fire there at the end of the classroom. And the schoolmaster would have sat here, look, raised up above the pupils in his sort of built seat, looking out at his class. And look at this old map. How fantastic. The USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, where Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan were all in the USSR. Chinese Mongolia, now obviously Mongolia is now its own country, but that was Chinese Mongolia. The Republic, Tibet and China, now Tibet a separate country. French Indochina, which is now Vietnam. Siam, Thailand, the only country not to be occupied. British Burma. How the world has changed since this map was built, printed. Incredible. Wonder what? Indian exercise clubs. I was about to say, I wonder what these are. These clubs belong to Mr. Masson, who was the headmaster at Tully Nessel School, and used regularly by pupils. And these little boots. Coming now into the farmhouse kitchen. Everything freestanding, no fitted units. Your fire there that you'd have cooked on. And then the slightly more modern day range Rayburn over here. Now, interestingly, when I was a kid growing up in the south of England, and I'm only talking about the late 70s, early 80s, this is what we had in the kitchen. In fact, we still had it in 1987 when the Great Storm hit, because I remember we had no power for 5 days and my dad kept the Rayburn going all the time so that we had heat and we could cook on it. So even up until the late 80s, we were still using Rayburns. Came in very, very handy. Ooh. Who doesn't love a train set? If ever I had a really big house with enough spare rooms, I would 100% be building a train set like this. It's an absolute boyhood dream. I remember going to value a house once that had something like this in the loft. It was unbelievable. The chap who owned it had died, and his children were selling it, and they said, "Oh, there's a bit of a train set in the loft." A bit of a train set. It was absolutely amazing. Press the button, and the railway will run for about 5 minutes, and we're off. I'm not even joking about how much I love this. Feel free to skip this bit if you're not an absolute train nerd. Check this out. Train stopped at the station. Just love the little details of these things, like the golf course there. 2 guys putting. EWS locomotive, look, coming around the turn. What a fantastic thing. Then we've got old gramophones. Look at that, a sideboard with a radio in it. The radio was so new and so amazing, and that they made sideboards out of the radio. Actual furniture. That's how cool radio was back in the day. To show you this, the Great North of Scotland railway hotels. A lot of the railways back in the day bought hotels or built hotels as a way of getting customers onto the railway. Cruden Bay Hotel, Port Errol. Golf course, one of the finest in Scotland, and it still is. Cruden Bay Golf Course is one of the top links courses in the world, probably. Of course, the railway no longer goes to Cruden Bay. The hotel, I think, has been knocked down, and the golf clubhouse is where the hotel was. But imagine from Aberdeen taking yourself up to Cruden Bay on the train for 2 or 3 days of golfing. And we're coming through into the original mart. This is where they would have sold the cattle, and they still do to a degree up here. They still sell cattle in marts. There's one at Fainstone, but the farmers would have sat in these wooden seats with these lovely little cushions on and bid while the auctioneer was there, and the cattle would have been walked around the ring. Absolutely incredible. Here you have a special notice. During the period 1st of February to 31st of May, all ewes and gimmers sold as being in lamb will be held as being guaranteed 80% in lamb, and ewe hogs guaranteed 50% in lamb. So if you were buying ewes at the mart, you could be guaranteed that 50% of them were in lamb. If you got more, great. If you got less, well, you could come back and say, I got less, I'd like my money back. And then this is the tractor shed. Meat stored during the hot weather. Ideal cold chamber. Look at this, all these old implements from back in the day. Number 37, that big shovel. I think that's a malt shovel, am I right? Yes, I am correct. That is a malt shovel. Look at these old tractors all lined up in here. Your Massey Ferguson 135. Let's have a look in here. The Shawmere Isle. Oh wow. Look at this. So this was probably where the animals would have been kept. The farm Shawmere was a room usually near the stables, which provided for single farm servants who were given their meals in the farm kitchen. Features an end-to-end bed. The mattress was filled with chaff from the threshing mill. So if you were a single farm labourer, this is what you would have lived in. Amazing. Harry Ferguson, inventor of tractor hydraulic linkage, which is what this is. It's used as a teaching aid in schools. Imagine being taught to use tractor hydraulic linkage in schools. Fordson. You can see how everything works. Look at this steering linkage. You know, the steering wheel would have turned and that would have pushed and pulled the wheels. All very simple. All stuff that, you know, your average farmer back in the day could have fixed. Not like today where they have to call out Class or New Holland. A 1948 Ferguson T. More Fordsons. Look at this dinky little Ferguson. How cool is that? The Ferguson Model A, 1936, 20 horsepowers, 1600 weight. The first production tractor to have hydraulic 3-point linkage fitted. Imagine being the first farmer in Aberdeenshire to have 3-point linkage. Your neighbouring farmer comes around and you say, have you seen my new Fergie? I've got 3-point linkage. All your mates would be like, God, he's such an arsehole, isn't he? No one likes a big head, do they? Old chainsaws. Very early chainsaws. Still, look, still going today. Stuttgart, Germany, makers of the world's first chainsaw. £84 in 1959. Geez, that would be a lot of money now. Stationary engines used to power machines, of course, before tractors and combines came in. You would add a stationary engine, and you would have bought the item that you needed to do something with, be it sawing wood or threshing corn or whatever. You would have bought those items to the stationary machine. And then, of course, this sort of thing came in. Look at this, a McCormick International binder. So it's an early forerunner, because you can see the blade on it, the early forerunner to a combine. Amazing. Ploughs. I wonder if the farmers back in the day had any idea how much mechanization and automation was going to change their lives. I bet they thought it would be for the better. You imagine an estate of 2,000 acres having 20 farm workers on it, and them thinking that this automation was going to come in and they were going to sit on a tractor. And now here we are in 2025, and these 2,000 acre farms have 2 employees because everything's mechanized and got GPS, and all those jobs have gone. Their lives didn't get easier, their jobs disappeared. And I wonder if they had any idea. And then we've got the smithy. Look at the size of those bellows. Absolutely amazing. The original wheelie bin. Look at the old road signs. Amazing. RAC on them. You know, before the days of standardising road signs like we have now. So we're gonna, okay. This takes me back to my misspent youth in the pub. Ah, yes. What we got here then? 1 7 1.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
50 records on there. 100 tracks.
So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed your little walk around Afford Heritage Museum. Really interesting place here, just west of Aberdeen. If you're in the area, if you're in Aberdeenshire, it's £7.50 to get in. The 2 guys that are here today running it are fantastic, really knowledgeable. They'll tell you all they know about the place. So if you are in the area, pop down, have a look at this.